course, super excited, ready for this big honor and this big moment. I want to thank, of course, Mark and the Mavs for making this happen. My family's here from Germany and a few other friends from all around the world, if they were able to travel. So I'm excited for this big event tomorrow and just going to really soak it all in and try to enjoy and really have a blast with the fans and with the people I love. So I think with that we can open it up to some questions.
Hey, Dirk, I wonder if you could compare your emotions leading into this to the ones you had, in the hours leading up to you announcing your retirement.
I hope tomorrow is not going to be as emotional. They always say an athlete dies twice, and to me that was the hard cut right then and there. Even though I was prepared for it for a few years. But tomorrow still will be somewhat emotional. I don't know really. Of course, I know a little bit of what's going to happen, but I still want to be surprised, like I always like to be. And so, I'm sure some of the videos are going to make me a little emotional. But I just want to, like I said, enjoy and be in the moment and react to the stuff that I see. And I'm sure the Mavs have plenty of surprises up their sleeves, and so. I'm just going to look forward to it and really get lost in the moment, really.
Tim Cato, The Athletic. Dirk, over here. Dirk, a lot of athletes, and I think you were included, down the stretch of their career, they talk about when they pass milestones and when they go through historic achievements, that they'll think about what that means at a later point after their career is over. You've had a few years now. What sort of things have you been thinking about in these years since retirement? And especially, I wonder if your perspective has changed or grown on any of the many accomplishments you've had.
Yeah, I appreciate the question. That's a deep question. Honestly, it's been super busy even in retirement. With the kids, we try to travel a lot when it was possible, and just getting lost in their lives and then learning more stuff on off the court. And so I haven't really had the time where I said, okay, now I'm going to reflect and really sit here. But of course, it was an amazing ride. I mean, 21 years in the same organization, the same city. That has meant a lot to me, and I'll never forget some of the memories we made along the way. Of course. The ones that are easy to remember are always the first ones to pop up, and that's, of course, the championship and the Olympic Games and all the big playoff games and series, but the 30K, of course. I mean, all those moments come first, but there's so much other things that went into this, and all the people that helped you and all the hard work you put in. I think that sometimes still does go through my head, and I look back, of course, with pride. And with some sort of satisfaction.
Hey, Dirk, when you were taking part in that introductory news conference all those years ago with that haircut and all that stuff, and now you look at this day, could you have imagined that things would have turned out the way that they have and that Texas would have become your home the way it has?
No chance. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect. I think we all know that coming off the plane, and all I had seen was my parents watching the show Dallas on TV and me looking at it by passing. So I wasn't really sure what the city looks like and how the NBA would be like. I only watched it on TV before. So yeah, I think nobody really saw this coming, even my closest supporters. Maybe Holger, since he's a wizard in a way. Maybe he thought that was possible and with my potential, but I certainly didn't. I was always a shy and glasses half empty kind of guy, and so and then the first year was of course super hard, and it took me a while to get going. So I mean, if you would have told me in year one I would have played for 21 years, I would have probably not believed that. So Worked out amazing, of course, and I look back and on 21 years.
Dirk, Eddie Sefko, Mavs.com. You've always been lauded for your kind of focus and hard work ethic and all of that. I was wondering, way back when Holger was asking you to do some crazy things or putting you through some drills that maybe weren't all that fun, did you ever think, man, this is not going to be worth it. This is not going to work out for me. I'm going to, I ought to bag it. Or did you always have that laser focus?
Well, I got to say, first of all, I love the game. So if you love the game and love the profession that you do, and you're lucky enough to love what you do, then it comes easy to me. You work hard. You don't really know that you're working, really. Of course, there's some moments as I gotten older where the repetition and things were getting a little older. It was getting tougher sometimes in the summer to motivate myself for the big summer program. I think some of those things were getting harder as I gotten older. But when I was young, I mean, Holger tried. That's why we tried all these other sports, and he always tried to make it fun and for me to enjoy and learn new things and travel the world. And so it was never really a phase where it was boring. And then usually in the summer, I played for the national team, so I had big tournaments there that I was getting ready for. And so there was never really a time where I had to slow down and things were getting boring.
Hi, Dirk. Congratulations. So tomorrow, 100,000 fans, even more, will be watching the ceremony, the event on our air in China. And you have been a household name over there since, I would say, early 2000s, since Wang Zhizhi set foot on the NBA floor, donning the Mavs jersey as your teammate. And of course, had a short stint in Dallas with you, playing with you. So, to those fans, all those fans be watching our broadcast tomorrow, what do you want to share? What do you want to say to them? And things they also want to know, what do you miss the most now you're, kind of far away from basketball, but what do you miss the most from playing?
I'll answer the second question first. I think I miss the stuff that I always thought I would miss, and that's, of course, the adrenaline of making a big shot, either silencing the crowd, sit down, or making a big shot at home and the crowd's going wild. If I watch a game now and somebody is making a big play like that, I do get a little bit of a sense that I'm never going to have that feeling again in my life. So that hurts a little bit. And of course, the competition and the camaraderie a little bit in the locker room. I think those are some of the things that are obvious that I miss. And I want to thank, of course, my Chinese fans for supporting me for so long. We've had numerous trips to China, and so many people have come out and waited at the hotel or airports to meet the Mavericks when we were there just a few years ago in preseason. So thanks for all your support, and keep supporting the Mavs.
Dirk, over here. Dwayne Price, Mavs.com. When you look back on your first NBA game in February of 1999 in Seattle against Detlef Schrempf.
You were there.
I was there. Yeah. What do you remember most about that game, and just talk about your relationship with Detlef at that particular time?
Yeah, so I think I was just super overwhelmed of the whole situation. We all know that was a lockout year, so we had a shortened preseason. So I really only had like 2 or 3 preseason games. The next thing you know, we started. There was German media everywhere. They were in the locker room where I was changing before the game. Just everything was new and overwhelming. I got to meet Detlef, took a picture before the jump ball together. I remember he introduced me to his wife after the game and gave me a cell phone number, and that was super sweet that a guy like, obviously I looked up to and had such an amazing career in the NBA was so nice to me and wanted to help me, wanted me to succeed, was sort of a mentor for me if I needed him. That meant a lot to me, and it kind of showed me the way for later on if I can help some of these young international guys that come over. That's how you do it. You want to help them out, and you want to be available for them if they ever need something. So Detlef was the guy to show me the way early on. But like I said, I was completely overwhelmed for that game, and was probably one of my worst games in the NBA.
Dirk, Kevin Sherrington, Dallas Morning News. Front.
Kevin, how are you? Hey, how's it going?
I wonder how much you've been paying attention to the Mavericks this season, what you think of them, and could you be ready to play Wednesday night?
I wish. Yeah, of course, I've been following. You know, now I'm the special advisor. I have to catch as many games as I can. No, seriously, it's been a tough season with lots of injuries and health and safety protocols, and so it's kind of, I don't think we've seen how good this team can really be. Even if you look at how many games Luka and KP have played together healthy, which is not a lot. You can probably count it on one hand. So it's been a little frustrating, but I guess, you know, the whole league is dealing with this stuff, and you just got to hopefully fight through it and play your best basketball sort of going towards the end of the season. I guess that's what we're all hoping. So, yeah, did I miss something there, or what did you see? Oh, okay.
Straight ahead to your left, Dirk. Good afternoon, congratulations. Valencia King with Real Talk Sports. You mentioned earlier how much your family and loved ones supported you on this journey. How much of this jersey retirement is dedicated to them?
Yeah, I mean, they were my number one fans from the beginning. I think they sacrificed a ton for me growing up, you know, playing 3-4 sports at the same time, driving me around, giving up their weekends. And so, yeah, they were always in my corner supporting me and pushing me. So it actually makes me a little emotional talking about it now, so I can't imagine how it is tomorrow. But yeah, they were always in my corner and helping me and through tough times, which were, of course, a lot. Every year through tough playoff losses, or, you know, after the finals when we were up 2-0, or my MVP year, we lost to the 8th seed, and those are times where I really needed to lean on my support system and my family and Holger, and they were always came through for me and got me ready for the next season. So this is, of course, as much for them as it is for me.
Dirk, Mac Engel, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. What advice would you give to 20-year-old European kid coming over to the NBA now? And how much different is it today, considering all you went through, compared to when you came here in '98?
I think the times are different. The times have changed. I think through social media, in a way, the world's gotten a lot smaller. I think people know a lot more now about places where they go, where they travel. They can watch a video. You can watch a YouTube clip. I mean, like I said, I watched the show Dallas on TV one time walking by, and that's all I knew. So the world's gotten smaller, I think, in a way. I think you know, their English is usually better now than we were struggling at the time coming over. But it's always a little bit of a step to leave your family behind. You know, I would always say find a mentor, find a friend that helps you. For me, it was Steve and Mike. We all been through that story plenty of times, but they were super important for me. Not just sit at home and get homesick and take me out of the hotel, take me to eat every night. Just there was somebody there for me that you know, I can talk to and learn from and look up to. So I would say to these young kids, you know, try to get adjusted as fast as you can. For me, I found that I could only play my best on the court when I was comfortable off it. So I would say try to get comfortable off the floor as fast as you can, find friends, learn the language, learn as much about the culture as you can, and then get adjusted, and then you can play well on the floor.
Hi, Dirk. I know that in the past you had said that you would sing or hum Counting Crows to calm yourself at the free throw line. Is there any other thing that went through your mind through the very tough times and the hot gym, or all the moments where, you know, maybe you wanted to quit or stop? Anything that you, any tips for a younger player to push through and to keep going, also, and remaining so humble along the way?
I appreciate it. I think I found certain motivation tools throughout my journey. You know, I always mention one that, you know, when I had trouble motivating myself in the summer, I was thinking to myself, Kobe is not sleeping now, or Tim Duncan is not sleeping in. You play little mind games, I think, with yourself that get you going and motivate and push yourself. Or, you see a clip or what you didn't do in the playoffs, you can watch some film, and that should motivate you. And if you didn't do enough that year, to come back and work hard and get better. So I think you just play games, but first of all, I love the game. So in my 20s, it was easy for me to work on my game and always work hard because I wanted to be in the gym. There was nowhere else I wanted to be. I think these mind games to motivate yourself come in more later on in your career when, you get up, oh man, my back's a little tight, or, the ankle hurts a little bit. I think that's when you use those tools to get you going. And early on, it was all fun and games and work hard.
Hey, Dirk, to you right here. Lane and Thomas, Mavs fans for life. Hey, Dirk, looking back on your career and the impact you've had on the game of basketball, what is it like seeing it firsthand where players use your signature move, the one-legged fadeaway, as a standard in their skill set?
I mean, it's humbling. It's great. It's great to watch. I think I mention it all the time. It's not that hard of a shot to shoot if you have good balance, if you have a good touch. I think it's not that difficult of a shot, and I love that guys think now it's good to have in their repertoire to get a shot up either when the shot clock goes down or whatever the case may be. You can always just with one or two quick bumps create a little separation for yourself and still get up a half decent look. So I think it's amazing that lives on, but I don't really claim that shot for myself. There were some guys that shot it before a little bit. I shot it, I guess, more than everybody. But it's awesome to see that's a shot that is in a lot of players' repertoires now.
Hey, Dirk. Mike Palucci with D Magazine. I'm looking at the list of memorabilia for tomorrow night in this showcase, and this is pretty comprehensive. So
this is only a few things. Yeah.
Where did the idea come from to do that? What made you want to kind of make this available for so many people to see?
So we were thinking how this night could also be special for obviously the fans. And the Mavs came up with that idea. If I have some stuff flying around at the house, that would be interesting. And then that's how that idea started. And then I said, sure, let's try it. So I think it's going to be really cool just for fans to come early, hopefully, and see some of the stuff. I have all the All-Star rings over the 14 years and some of the jerseys, and a few things gotten lost over the years, especially early on. I'm not sure where that stuff went, but obviously the trophies are cool to see. The ring, usually people don't see much, so I think it started with just trying to think of a way what will be cool for the fans to see.
Dirk, Jobin with WFA. Okay, so the next logical step is a statue. And if you could decide what it looks like.
Very logical, yes,
right?
Very logical.
So, Mike, what does it look like? Is it the fadeaway? Is it long hair Dirk? Is it bearded Dirk? Is it goatee Dirk? And also, last question, who else do you think in Mavs history should get consideration to have their numbers retired?
Well, there's a lot of discussions on who should go up. That's always tough. I'm not sure actually who makes that decision. I'm sure there's plenty of guys that have a case for it. Whether it's Jet, who's been here for a long time, or, Finn was here on 2 stints, and actually was just here for 1 stint, right? And then he left. So, I mean, there is a few guys that I'm sure are deserved for it, but I'm not sure who makes that decision later on. And the first part of your question, I already forgot. Oh yeah, sorry. Well, honestly, I can't give away too much. I've been, of course, a little bit involved in the project. We even did a studio visit in Chicago with the artist a few months ago. I think it's going to be super cool. I think it's going to be a surprise of what it is, what it looks like. But I think the artist is amazing, and he's going to do a great job. And of course, I haven't seen the final version of it, but I think it's going to look amazing. And honestly, that's got to be the last honor hopefully I'm getting. I mean, this is a lot, with the street first, and I turn on Nowitzki Way, and now look at the jersey, and now, I mean, the statue outside. You guys know me, that's a lot for me. It's a lot of limelight, but I'm gonna enjoy it when it gets to that point as well.
Hi, Dirk. Prabhat Silm, Citiback Sports page. You've obviously had so many milestones in your career, from MVP to a championship, and now tomorrow your jersey in the rafters. When you move through these milestones, who are the people that you remember most and the things that you think back on when you go through these times?
Well, obviously friends and family. I think that's an obvious one that help you get there even, and help you through tough times, like I mentioned earlier. But of course, some of the coaches and teammates, and I think I'm going to reflect on that tomorrow in my speech. Some of the people that helped me get to that point and helped me stay at a high level for a long time. So I don't want to give away too much stuff, but of course it's all the staff and a lot of people that work for the Mavericks and that have been with me. Some of them actually almost 2 decades. So it means a lot to have a lot of great support system. You don't just show up at 7:30 every other night and play well. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. A lot of people behind the scenes that work their butts off, and so hopefully I can thank some of them tomorrow for their hard work.
Dirk, all the way in the back here. Pedro Silva, Univision Dallas, right here. Dirk, when we asked Luka yesterday about the legacy that you leave behind as a foreign player, he talked about not only the impact that you've had in Europe, but obviously in the United States and everywhere in the world. When you see so many good foreign players now, like Luka, like Antetokounmpo, Jokic, what do you think that you have been able to somehow also influence? What are your thoughts on that? And then also just your memories of playing in Mexico City.
I love Mexico City. We were just there in a preseason game, I think, towards the end of my career, and had a fantastic. No, we were actually there for a real regular season game. I think we played Phoenix, and we had a blast down there for a couple of days, and getting to see the fans. The atmosphere was amazing. I think I remember I had a dunk there, which didn't happen much at the end of my career, so I'll always remember Mexico City. And towards the international, I mean, it makes me proud in a way as an old father to see some of those young kids now take over the league and not only be players on their teams, but be franchise players, MVP type calibers, and that is super fun to see. And of course, there were guys that paved the way for me, like Drazen Petrovic and Schrempf and Kukoc and all these guys that came before me. And then obviously if I helped some young guys or motivated somebody or inspired somebody, that's of course an honor for me that I was somewhat a part of their journey. That's of course humbling to hear. So I'm excited that the game has grown so much over my 20 years that now we have all these international players play really, really well and dominate the league, and that's a credit to international basketball, how good it's gotten over the 2 decades.
Dirk, Chris Arnold, 105.3 The Fan / Mavericks. After 21 years, you decided to retire, but what was the first time you thought about retiring, and what changed your mind to keep playing?
Well, I think that's been sort of well documented. The last 2 years were really tough for me. The second to last year, I had so many bone spurs in my ankle that I could barely move to one side. So I said, but I played almost 80 games, so I said, let's try to get the bone spurs out and get a little more movement in the ankle, and that might actually be better for my playing. But it didn't really work that way. The more movement I got into my joint after that surgery, I actually had more pain playing. So the last year was super tough. I missed the first 30 games, and then it took me forever to kind of play myself in the shape I wanted to be, to really still play at a decent level at 40, 41 years old. So the last 2 years kind of take some of the fun away, unfortunately. The last couple months, my career didn't practice anymore. I basically just, took some anti-inflams for every game and try to play as well as I could or to move as well as I could. So it was getting harder and harder there to keep up and keep the body up to speed. So I think mentally, honestly, I could have done one more year just because it was all I knew, really. But the ankle told me it was time to go. Oh, no, what? Never. No. I was, in 2003, I was still kicking butt and taking names. I mean, you don't think of retiring when you're that early in your career. No, it was just the last few years. I wasn't sure when was the right time. So I played as long as I could, as long as the body held up.
About the foreign players a couple questions ago, but what about when you watch the game now and you see these big guys? Because you were the first big guy that ventured out past the three-point line. Porzingis is, knocking down 35-footers. What kind of pride do you take in that now that you've helped change the game for the bigs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud to be a small part of that, I think. The game, when I came in, was different. In 98, 99, the fours were usually still big guys, and they were, backing their way into the paint, and it was more of a closer to the basket type game still, and rebounders and bangers. And then, the rules changed along the way. They put in the zone. The NBA wanted a little more freedom of movement. They took away some of the hand checking and some of that. And so that kind of honestly played right into my hands as a soft Euro. It, of course, helped me that there was more freedom, more passing, more cutting, more pick and rolls. And so I was kind of part of when the league changed, and so that was a perfect timing for me. And now, I mean, every four basically has to be able to spread the floor. Basically, all fives now can shoot or bring the ball up, put the offense in play, and so it's been fun to watch the skill level improve. Not only of the bigs. I mean, I watched Steph Curry still in awe. I mean, he's crossing half court and shooting the three. So it's just the skill level, the shooting has improved so much over the 20 years in my career. It's been fun to be a part of that.
Hi, Dirk. Bria Maranthus from Sports Illustrated.
Hello.
Over here. I'll give you a little break from talking about yourself. As Luka is establishing his own legend with the Mavs, what kind of advice do you have to him to be successful in Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, I love Luka. I think everybody knows that. We kind of bonded pretty good there, even though we only played for 1 year together, and I missed almost half of the season. But I don't know, I could relate to some of the stuff that he's going through. I was not nearly as good, especially early on. I had a really slow start, and I could kind of hide behind Steve and Mike there for a while, but he's been basically the number one guy ever since he got here. So there's a lot of pressure that comes with that, and the stuff you want to do for the community and help the community. So I've love to mentor him a little bit, and we've had some meetings over the years. He's a really sweet guy with a huge heart, and on the court, he looks so mature the way he plays and how he reads the game. And then when you catch him off the floor, you realize this kid is 22 years old. I mean, it's fantastic and amazing what he's doing. So really happy for him, really proud of him, and he just got to keep working, hopefully stay injury-free, and have a long career with the Mavs. And anywhere I can be of help down the line, or if he has questions, he has my number. We can meet at any time. I'd love to help him reach his goals.
Hey, Dirk. Eric Mora with Telemundo, right here in the back. If you had a chance to go back in the past and change something in your career or do something different, what would it be?
I mean, of course, some of the playoff losses come to mind, but that also makes you into the player and shapes you into the player that you become, and it made me the closer I had to be in 2011 to finish the whole thing. So, while the disappointments were not fun to go through as a person, as a player, take most of the blame, it also then pushed me towards the end of my career to work hard and obviously win the championship. So I don't know, there were a few missteps I did off the court as well. You guys know all of that. They were well documented. That could have probably been prevented, but that also helped me shape me into the man that I had to become, and go through the tough times and just face the music and not hide. Some of that, but other than that, I think when I first started in the late 90s, we didn't know as much about weightlifting or diet. I mean, we were still, not eating well, or now guys are vegan and gluten-free, and I don't even know what they do. Back then, we were eating chicken fingers pregame. I mean, I think knowing now, I would have probably changed a few things earlier on in my career already, but it's just that was part of how we did things back then, and we learned more about training and diet later on in my career.
Dirk, Dwayne Price again. Could you tell us the role that Don and Donnie Nelson played in you being where you are today?
Yeah, huge, of course. They kind of found me in Germany, and just were huge supporters. And Donnie was always there for me, basically for my whole career. He made sure I was welcome and felt comfortable early on. And old Nels, with his philosophy on basketball, of course, helped me tremendously to get going, because I was kind of perfect in his system of mismatches and a big guy shooting the ball. I always think back at times, what would have happened if I was somewhere else? And, they would have put me in the weight room and probably put on 20, 30 pounds and play a complete different game, and maybe things don't work out the way it ended up doing. So I was really fortunate there to play under Nelly, and he gave me all the freedom and let me play my game, what I was good at. So both guys were a huge part of my career, of course.
Dirk, over here. Dirk, Jonah Javad here with WFAA. First and foremost, are you rolling up to LA Fitness these days, just banging threes?
I wish.
Are you playing at all? It's just,
Honestly, I haven't, since my ankle is not great, I have not played one game. I haven't even really shot the ball much. I play some tennis, doubles where my movement is limited, and my workouts other than that are a lot of biking. It's just unfortunate, but over 20 years on the hardwood, left a couple marks. So I can never go up in LA Fitness and just dominate, unfortunately. But maybe down the line it'll get better. But as of now, that's not in my plans.
Okay, and outside of hoops, this next chapter, a couple years ago you said, you'll look to get involved, and now you're a special advisor. We're not quite sure exactly what that entails. I'm assuming it's some sort of
Me neither.
But what do you envision as the next chapter for you? Is it coaching? Is it climbing the management tree? Is it co-ownership? What do you envision?
Great question. I think the special advising came by because I just wasn't ready to really be full on board yet. As we know, I love the Mavs and I bleed blue and I want to help, but I've been around the game so long, and now we have little children. I just wasn't ready to fully commit and go every day and start traveling in with the team, and I'm just not there yet. So I told him I'm more than happy to, in that advising role, bring in my experience, whatever I see, or text Mark when I see something during the game, or J Kidd, or come to practice every now and then, go to a few games, but I just wasn't in a position yet to fully commit. Now what the future brings is kind of all on the table, I guess. We haven't really discussed what they could do, what that could be. I think coaching is not in my plans. I think it could be fun working with individual guys. I think like Holger did with me. I think that's something I could enjoy. But like team coaching is the last thing I want to do, honestly. Standing there holding speeches, motivating guys that don't want to play. They're on their phone half of the time. I don't have the patience. I barely have the patience with my kids. I don't know. I would have the patience to coach a team and deal with all that nonsense these days. So I think that one's out. Other than that, I think all the options are on the table.
Dirk, Brad Townsend from Dallas Morning News again. Tomorrow night, all the focus is going to be in the arena, but only 20,000 people can be in there. I wondered how cognizant you might be of like the people who are watching, the lives you've touched over the years, and vice versa, including the really hundreds of kids you've visited in hospitals.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the arena is not bigger. Of course, I would love to have a lot more people here. Lots of people couldn't actually come, even from Germany, friends and family, and so I'm glad that somehow they can be part on TV or in the live stream or whatever the case may be. And there's just so many people that were a part at some point of this journey that I had. And of course, I can't mention them all tomorrow, but there's lots and lots that I think about and help me along the way. So yeah, it's gonna be sad that just unfortunately not everybody can be there.
Dirk, Mac Engel, Fort Worth Star Telegram again. Rick Carlisle was here for a long, long time. This is the first year he hadn't been here in forever. Can you describe your relationship with him and why you guys seem to get along so well?
Yeah, I love Rick. And he was a guy that his basketball knowledge was out of this world. He was, his X's and O's, his attention to detail. And he was a great man. He always supported stuff that I did off the floor as well. So yeah, got nothing but love for Rick, of course, and unfortunately he can't be here either. I think they have a game tomorrow. But yeah, Rick made us champs, and sometimes his leadership of being fully involved and very hands-on to finding a way with a kid to kind of letting go. And I think part of adjusting is a big role nowadays of the head coaching. You have to adjust to what you have on your roster, and I always thought he did a great job there, and I love playing for Rick.
Hey Dirk, over here. What is, looking back on your career, what is the funniest moment or memory that you can think of?
I mean, I've had a lot of fun with my teammates. I think that's pretty clear. Playing pranks on guys, making fun of outfits. I mean, in a men's locker room, I think nothing is off limits, and I enjoyed that setting for a very long time, and making my teammates feel comfortable with me, always joking around with them and having fun, and not seeing myself as a bigger piece, always seeing myself as one of the guys and having fun. And so there's, of course, those are some of the times that I miss. Sometimes I'll be at home and I say something to wifey and she goes, "This is not the locker room." So you can tell I do miss the locker room every now and then.
Hi, Dirk, in the back here.
Hey.
So I think when people think of you, they think of humility and loyalty, which is kind of a rarity nowadays, especially with superstars. Where does that sense of loyalty come from?
I think it started with my family, being loyal and down to earth people, growing up in a smaller town in Germany, and then I just kind of grew into this community, really, and with Mark buying the team. First, I wasn't sure what to expect when I got here, and then Mark bought the team in my second year, and the relationship that we started to develop. And so I think that's where it grew from there. And people, you know, I always remember my first year when there were games where I didn't play at all. And every time I got subbed in the next night or something, I got a standing ovation. So showed me that people cared and wanted me to succeed. And that, of course, meant a ton to me. So I just always try to pay that loyalty from Mark and the community and the fan base here back by showing that I want to be here and I want to win.
Hey, Dirk, Jose from Channel 8. I just want to thank you. I've been at Channel 8 41 years. In your 21 years, you never changed. You were the same guy.
I appreciate
and the
that.
media some of the media guys want to tell you thank you for that. How can you respond to how you never changed in your 21 years now?
You know, I always try to have fun. Honestly, I try to be myself. I don't try to take myself too seriously, as you guys know, and just having fun and enjoying being in the moment, respecting people, treating people fair is always important to me. And so I obviously got to thank you guys as well. You guys were always fair to me, and I try to pay the same respect back. So, and I think you learn to deal with stuff a little more. I think at the beginning, my English wasn't great. I was shy. I didn't really want to do interviews, and that somehow maybe at times came over that I was a little arrogant, but it was more because I just felt uncomfortable and didn't want to do interviews. But once my English has gotten better, I'm enjoying meeting people and interacting, whether it's, you know, a signing session with fans, whether it's an interview, big press conference. I try to enjoy myself and have fun with everybody.
Hi, Dirk. Tamara. A lot of fans can't be here, but Brandon is here. He's one of your fans. He wrote an essay about you when he was in 9th grade. You invited him here today. How are these stories and just the chance that he has the chance to finally come here, how is that important to you?
Yeah, I gotta say, I've had a little bit of time the last two and a half years to read some letters I've gotten, or when I'm out on town, how many people have come up to me and said, well, thank me for my services. That's special. That's for sure special. Give me 1 second. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Dirk. Landon Thomas, Mavs Fans for Life again. I just want to ask you, in your career, what has basketball taught you that you applied to other aspects in your life?
Well, it's a team sport. You have to fit in. I mentioned earlier, I never try to see myself as a bigger piece of the puzzle. I think chemistry is extremely important on and off the floor. I think it's taught me a discipline from early on even. Nothing comes without putting the work in, of course. But the biggest thing I think to me was part of the team. You know, I play tennis as well, which is a single individual sport, and I just love being part of the team more. Experience ups and downs, go through it with your teammates. That was the most important thing to me. That everybody's part of the big chain. Everybody's one link, and everybody's the same.
Hey, Dirk. Another question on basketball. Through your NBA career, what are some toughest basketball battles you have had on the court? And for you, especially coming in, as you mentioned, as an international player, how do you think those battles shaped your character in Dallas, in America, as an international player?
Well, you know, I had to, of course, fight through at the beginning, the European player, he's soft, go at him, or I'll be somewhere on defense, kind of, my airplane defense that I played for 21 years, and somebody was screaming from the bench, go at him, he's soft. And, you know, things like this you hear and you're like, okay, you know, let me work a little harder. Let me work on my body a little harder. And so stuff like that just pushed me and helped me to really get better. And I mean, there were some great battles. You know, there in the early 2000s, the power forward position was stacked. Whether you went to Portland and played Rasheed Wallace, or you played KG in Minnesota, or you played Zach Randolph somewhere, and you played, I mean, there was so many. You played Sharif Abdurrahim in Sacramento, and I mean, you name it, or C. Webb, and I mean, it was just Tim Duncan in San Antonio. So I felt like every night there was a challenge waiting somewhere. And you just, you know, if you're a competitor, you love the challenge, and you know, you want to bring it every night. And I think that was the hardest part for me at the beginning, was how do you bring that consistency every night to play against the best in the world. And that took me a while. I think that I needed some experience. But look back at some of the great battles against, of course, Tim Duncan in San Antonio. We saw them every year in the playoffs for a while, and had a great, you know, couple battles with KG, whatever he was at the time. You know, it's just guys like this. I'll always remember some of the best in the game. Yeah.
Hey, Dirk, right here in the middle. Lauren Gunn, Mavs Moneyball. Last night after the game, Jokic talked about how much he admires you and the fact that you've stayed with one team for your entire career. What does it mean to you to be a role model for some of these young stars who get drafted to middle or even small market teams that also have interest in staying long term?
Well, it's super cool that they appreciate or respect the journey that I was on. Like I said, when I first got here, that never crossed my mind. I think I just wanted to really establish myself and make it in the NBA. And then, you know, later on, all the reasons that I mentioned, it was the perfect fit to me. So I'm not really in a position to sit here and tell somebody what they have to do for their career and for their families. I think everybody has to find their own way, what's best for them. So if guys want to take that route and they appreciate and respect that, and they feel like they have the perfect setup that they need there with the owner and organization, everything fits, and their family likes it, then that's obviously great for them. And I hope lots more people do that or stay with one team and make it work. But you know, I understand it's not for everybody. It's just there's a lot of business out there to be had, and a lot of brands are out there. So it's just it's you know, whatever shoe fits. Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Oh, did you want to do Germans? There eine Deutsch? Kein Deutschland?